Good Sunday morning and welcome to the Hot Tea Podcast presents Football Talk Live, powered by DUBBY Energy. I'm your boy Shawn Xavien alongside storyteller. Dr. Earl is out today. However, we welcome you back for another episode and another season of our not so acclaimed football talk show. This is what season 6 now, right? I think what it's our 6th season in. I want to say 2020. Yeah, this is our 6th season of this. There, we're back, man, with all our football hijinks and our takes and unfiltered professional, analysis of everything else in between. But first, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitch at the Hot Seed Podcast, where we're streaming Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you're watching us, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share it. And welcome back if this is your first. Welcome back if you've been joining us before, and welcome if you have joined us for the first time. We're gonna be with you for about an hour. To talk about some things, NFL and college. We're early this season because we want to get a start. The football season has started. It's preseason time. And things get to going. It happened last Thursday, and I know all the significant others was looking at their significant others like, bro, I feel like we just finished watching sports, which you did. You were watching World Cup and NBA, and if you're a baseball fan, you're watching that right now. It is what it is at this point. Morning, my friend. How we doing? What's our
I'm so excited.
This morning? Coffee. Tea, what you got?
I got my coffee going with my puppy love cup going. But I'm excited, man. It's the most exciting time of the year. Absolutely. When you start breathing and tasting and seeing nothing but football. That's it. It's in the air. You were talking about significant others, so let me make sure I bless that side of things. It was our anniversary yesterday, so blessings to my missus over there. But yeah, man. I'm ready. Anniversary out the way. Football here.
Oh, man. Let's get right on into it, man. Let's start on the NFL side first. So on Thursday night, like I said, we were talking about preseason, and Thursday was the Hall of Fame game. But more importantly, it was the night that they inducted new members into the Hall of Fame class, or Hall of Fame in general there. And this year's Hall of Fame 2026 NFL class consisted of Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints, Roger Craig of the 49ers. He also played for Minnesota and the Rams as well, but the things they're most prominent and only for. Larry Fitzgerald of the Cardinals, Luke Kuechly of the Panthers, and Adam Vinatieri of the New England Patriots. But he also played, I think he actually went out and played for the Colts as well, if I remember.
Yeah.
But what we know them for. Any surprises? I'm pretty sure this has probably been debated ad nauseum even before this even happened. But any surprises as far as the class itself?
For me, no specific surprise on the class. My thing is always on the fact of the people that were behind this class that have been waiting.
Yeah,
that has always been my thing with the Hall of Fame, especially NFL. Now, let me preface it this way. I respect the NFL Hall of Fame more than I respect a whole lot of other ones because it does feel like a class of prestige, like exclusiveness, if you get me. And that's how it should feel. Just because you were good, just because you played a long time and you put up decent numbers and things, that doesn't mean you're a sure thing for the NFL. Just because you were on teams that had multiple championships does not mean that you're a lock for the NFL. You already know where I'm going with it. A lot of on my side are screaming about Eli Manning and things like that. Well, yeah, he won too. I got you. And he had killer playoff runs and things like that. And I think he'll eventually get in. But when people were mad on, say, like the first ballot and stuff like that a year ago, I'm like, it's supposed to be this hard to get in. Now, on the flip side of that, no matter if you don't like this man or not, I remember last year us talking about it. unless you're gonna tell me specifically that you're not gonna put this person in, period. Like people like Bill Belichick and stuff like that. Like, I, I you can't tell me it's not personal. You can't tell me it's not personal. Honestly, this is a hell of a class, and I'm just going straight down the line.
It is.
I mean, Drew Brees, come on, hell of a class. Larry Fitzgerald, I think I've told you before, one of my most favorite players to ever play the game, and that's on the field and off the field. Like, just class personified. Luke Kuechly, if you are going to ask me the question mark, Luke Kuechly, great player. The only thing I got to sit back and look at, how long did Luke play?
He played for several years. I think he played like 7 years, 7 to 8 years, if not more.
He was great while he played, but I remember when he got injured at the end.
And that's what threw you off. And while you pulling that
up, was the only thing.
And I don't know the backing of that, and I don't know if it was personal or anything like that. But the person that it's surprising me that it took so long. Roger Craig.
Yeah, I thought he was already in.
He stopped playing 92, 93. And by that time, I think he was playing with Minnesota. Roger Craig, has 3 Super Bowls, and he just wasn't on the team. You've seen plenty of highlights with Roger Craig in it. Roger Craig, we all know the names of Marshall Faulk and now Christian McCaffrey and their duality when it comes to receiving and rushing the ball. Roger Craig was the first player to actually rush for and receive 1,000 yards in the same season. He stopped playing in 1992-93.
These people weren't even playing.
2026. I was 12, 13 in 92. I am now 46 years old. You mean it took 30 years to get Roger Craig into the Hall of Fame? Now, I get it. There's other people who have went in, but really now that San Francisco 49ers roster had, it got Hall of Famers all up and down the line. But
it's that process, though.
Right. You can't mention.
Because those people get pushed back.
Yeah, but you can't mention Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and those guys without mentioning Roger Craig. And he had to work 30 years. I remember early in the year, might have been last year, I think, when they started, and I like how they do it when they go in and they have folks come up and, to their homes and they surprise the candidates who's getting in, man. And I remember seeing him show up, him open the door, man, and he was so excited. It was so excited. Seeing Luke Kuechly, man, I felt like it looked like he felt he was surprised he was, he was a nominee.
It was 8 years, by the way, for Luke.
8 years. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, right there. And he was, right, those 8 years, hell of 8 years. Luke Kuechly was there.
Oh, hell of 8 years.
Yeah, the concussions and stuff there is what's it, but he was, Larry Fitzgerald. It was just, to your point, this process, man, is so, whoever's doing their homework. I know a lot of things have changed over time, different writers and stuff like that. Some people may have passed on, rest in peace for those folks, but it's the process of getting in now, because you're going to have that log jam at a certain point when it's going to be some folks you got to really make some decisions about. I know going into next year, and I don't want to go too far into it because I want to give these folks their shine, but, one person who's eligible for the Hall of Fame now is one Antonio Brown. Forget all you can't forget it, but besides all of the off the field stuff, Antonio Brown was one of the best receivers in the NFL, period, for like a good 6 years, maybe. And that was just those 6 years. Him, was part of the Killer Bees and stuff like that. And so that's going to be that's when you go to your point, some personal stuff might start to come in, because you can't not see what you saw. And if you keep it all stats and performance, yes. But would you agree that the Hall of Fame also should have a certain level of decorum about it? Like, it's one of those, look, your favorite player, Lawrence Taylor, is in the Hall of Fame. You're on mute.
I got to see the straight parameters on how they choose, as far as is there slots left open, not only for the new class that's come named for first time, but for some of the older ones, because that's the only thing that I don't agree with. People that's been waiting 10, 15, 20 years, people that aren't here no more. Families wanted them to definitely at least be alive to see it and stuff like that. Yeah. And you know, they keep on getting pushed because that next class comes in and that next class is stellar. And it pushes that one person back, you know. I think on my side of things, on the Giants side of things, I remember the big conversation a couple years ago was about like people like Carl Banks. And I forgot how many years you can be up for it too. Or does that stop? Does that expire?
No, it does expire.
At all?
I'm pretty sure
Okay.
it does expire.
So let me just see in that
If
sense.
if
But
I'm
yeah,
correct-
that's the stuff I'm talking about because the biggest part I felt on the whole thing was a person like what you said, Roger Craig, having to give a video because he's going through vascular dementia. And you know how that hits me. That hits me personally.
Yeah.
Because of what my family's going through.
Yeah.
But that's wild. That's wild because I remember watching Roger Craig play. You know what I mean? And I remember that team being stellar, and he was a big part of it. This wasn't just a Joe Montana type thing. He was a big part of it, just as much as Jerry Rice and everybody else that was out there. Even through the story, through the video, he tells you like Jerry Rice is known for running that hill. He was like, but guess who showed him the hill?
There you go.
It was him.
To this day, Jerry Rice is still running that hill. He's still running that hill. Yeah. I want to point this out because, you know, we have this debate all the time. We're talking about the NBA and the difference between how it was back in the 90s. More so, you know, because we're talking about the Jordan LeBron comparison and how the game has changed. Look, man, folks like Roger Craig specifically, all these other folks, you know, they were a little bit later, a lot later. But Roger Craig played in time is when you go back and watch, do you see how big those daggone shoulder pads were and the equipment they were wearing? I mean, they had on everything. They had on the shoulder pads.
And they didn't have the recovery that we got.
Nah, they had on all the leg pads and stuff. The shoes were like, it was so much, and what they were doing, like the conditions of the fields and stuff weren't the same. A lot of them played on turf, on like Astro turf. Like I think the Oilers played on Astro the turf, like something that, man, if you fall on that, that's a rug burn from hell. But it's just it does. And then, you know, I don't know what their training regimes look like, but those guys trained in a way. Yeah, they did get injured. They did get injured, but you don't see it as much as you see in today's thing, I guess. I mean, there's probably numbers that probably debunks what I just said, but it feels like the way, you know, as I transition into just something moment like as far because we're in the preseason right now, and there's things that are starting to happen as far as training camps and stuff like that, and we're already starting to see injuries. Most notably on my side, you know, I'm a go ahead.
I just want to put this out. I know you're transitioning in, but I just want to put this out there.
Right.
Some notable people not in the Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick, I already mentioned.
Yep.
Mike Shanahan, Mike Holmgren, Frank Gore, Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne. There's plenty more, but I'm just putting out some people here.
Well, we know Bill Belichick off of that. Frank Gore is going to be interesting. He has
ranks third all time in career rushing yards.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing that's going to keep him out. But he doesn't have. That's going to come down to they're going to put him up against somebody who potentially has either an MVP, a rushing title, or has a
championship,
something like that. That's going in there. Mike Holmgren, he got a Super Bowl, and he took the Seahawks. He took 2 teams to a Super Bowl. That typically gets you in. Like, that's interesting. Bill Belichick, we got to even talk about that. We know why that didn't happen. We know how that didn't happen. Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne, they were part of part of the greatest show on turf. No, actually, no. Torrey Holt was. Reggie Wayne was part of the Indianapolis Colts. We're going to see how that's going to go because the numbers are
and Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, and that in itself is
one of only 2 coaches to win back-to-back Super Bowls.
Hey, forget the Super Bowls. We got a whole system called the Shanahan
because
system that everybody runs.
That everybody still runs.
Right. What are we even talking about? That tree is huge. Wow. But okay.
Something to think about.
But
back to injuries.
My Redskins my then Redskins in the playoffs and turned a player into a rookie of the year and all this other thing, and drafted a quarterback that has been the highest paid quarterback, I think, by guaranteed money in the last several years, and Kirk Cousins, who got in a fight, by the way. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, let's go into training camp. So yeah, I
Nice
was
way to
talking
lead
about
it.
the way that injuries were happening there, but now most notably just came down a couple days ago, yesterday I think. Laramie Tunsil, man, our all-world
Yeah.
left tackle for the Commanders, man, torn tricep or biceps doing a one-on-one drill. I've seen Parasol, I forget his first name, for the 49ers out for the season. PCL injury. We got a few other ones that I saw. Who you guys got anybody notable in the Giants world?
Yeah, Scatterboo just got hurt.
He won't doing a backflip, was he?
No, he was flipping because Arvell Reese was hitting his behind back to back.
Yeah.
That's our most notable one of recent.
Yeah.
And then of course just watching Neighbors recover here, just seeing how he is.
Yeah. Let me ask you this though, because you were just talking about Arvell Reese hitting Scatterboo, and I know they've changed so much, they've toned it down in the off season around practices and stuff like that. I've always, as a former coach and stuff like that, even being a musician, you build up a callus when you're doing something, in my opinion. Now I know you're taking impact, stuff like that, but what's your take, man, on like the lessening of like the contact and how that correlates to potential injuries? Now, the argument folks going to say is, I saw in a comment on social media, they were like, well, like Laramie Tunsil, if it was going to happen, then it was eventually going to happen. That's not necessarily true. That doesn't mean he could have went through the season, not had that. It's a freak accident thing. But how do you feel about them toning down the contact to kind of preserve them for the season, but you still end up having a bunch of people go out for injury anyway? So what?
Well, there's so many ways I can go on that
Right.
conversation, so I'll try to attack as many as I can
Right.
in the least amount of time.
Right.
Number one, they could tone down anything that they want. It's football. At the end of the day, it's football. It's a contact sport. Number two, on our side of things, particularly, I mean the Giants, our coach is John Harbaugh. Yeah, nothing's going to get toned down. It's just, he's old school. It's just, Ravens. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And they already know. Three on that is, you can try your best to sit people out and stuff like that, but there's a difference between being in shape and being in NFL football shape.
Yeah.
And you have to get in NFL football shape. Yeah, I know how this person is. Let's leave him out for the whole time. Okay. We'll see how it is. We'll see how it is, especially if that person is coming off an injury like Patrick Mahomes or something like that. No matter how great you are, you get out there on that field and you have 250 and up pound people running at you 4 point whatever speed,
right,
to take your head off. You cannot simulate that. It can't be done.
You can't.
Even on a full speed practice field, you're playing to the fact of, oh, don't touch the quarterback though. You can run up to them. You're never going to get the feel of that specific game. I don't care what's going on. So that's always going to be out there. Now, I was definitely a person to the sense of, yes, less preseason games and stuff like that. If my person's going to get injured, let that thing happen in a counting NFL game. Yes, I got you on that. But as far as getting in shape and practices and stuff like that, if you watch like the Tunsil video, you didn't even see it happen.
Yeah, until you seen him bend over and hold his arm. Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden you saw, and those are one of those things that it just happens. That could have happened the first play of the season. That could have happened at home just playing with his kids. Like, it just happened. Yeah. So, that's a different type of injury. What I saw with that. Yeah. The injuries that I'm talking about that we should try to avoid during like camp specifically and stuff like that are the ones where, particularly, okay, you could tackle this guy, but did you really have to knock him? Like, he's on your team. Did you really have to do that? Did you have to go low and twist up the person's ankle? Did you have to on a throw? I saw one for the Giants, and we all know about all about neighbors and stuff like that. And the person that was defending them, I mean, was all up on them to the fact of, like, I didn't see how he was going to come down straight. And I'm like, all right, you play great defense, but step the hell back. Because if it's between you and him, I need you to really kind of push back, because that's the biggest thing about training camp to me. There's two things: getting these young players adjusted, and then these older players, getting them in the football shape. But also, what's the first thing you look at? What we're talking about right now: injuries. Yeah. Injuries. That tonsil injury changes a lot of things for y'all. It changes a lot of things. If Neighbors is not at full capacity for us, I don't care who we added to the team, it changes everything about how we're going to approach the season. And all these teams are the same way. We know that the 49ers have a team together and things like that, but all of them are hurt. If you're not there, you're not there. You know, the reason why, one of the biggest reasons why Seattle even won last year and nobody was talking about them throughout the season is because you also didn't hear about injuries.
Facts.
Everybody was there.
Yeah.
Injuries is one of the biggest things between you having a good season and us sitting back going, what happened?
Yeah.
So, and the whole avoidance of not doing things is not the equation that makes that happen.
Yeah. You can't avoid it. Like I've coached several teams and had players get hurt, and even, yes, they were at a much younger age as far as coming, going from Pop Warner all the way up going to the JV side. But a lot of that stuff was what we did, and something I do like is I like the joint practices. I think that's really that is really, really good, because one, you're seeing a different element of folks out there. The ability to kind of measure where you are. If you have a team, and I'm not, not to stick on Washington, but last year, we had the Terry McLaurin situation out, so he was out.
Mm-hmm.
So in
Which was a big
camp,
difference.
Yeah, it is, because now you don't have your number one out there, so you got the other receivers out there. They're NFL players, so they're still good, but they're not your number one guy. So you're not testing your corners. So what happens in practice? It looks like the corners and the defense, by way of that, are getting the best of the receivers, and you're thinking, oh man, our corners, we good, until you get out on the field and realize, like, oh, I won't practicing against him. I was practicing against a guy, and then all of a sudden, all that is completely exposed. They always tell you that the defense is always ahead of the offense, which is true, because there's a lot more that goes on the offensive side, defensive side. But if you really haven't played for that, and we're gonna go into this in a few moments, we play online. We play 2K, football, stuff like that. And we're really good. We are good at what we do. But go play on somebody online who does this day in and day out.
Yep.
You go get dog walk. So
yep.
It's one of those things, man. Injury wise, I don't think you can't plan for it. The only thing I will say to that is, I think there should be a bigger emphasis on flexibility. I know, and these guys have all world facilities and stuff like that, but flexibility in certain ways, man, is something that I think is missing, because guys train to be faster and strong, but your flexibility, man, needs to be in there. You can go up and look at players like a Lynn Swan, who took ballet.
Oh, you're talking about physical flexibility.
Physical flexibility. Look at Santana Moss, who played for us. I think at one point he was having hamstring injuries for the longest time, coming from the Jets and coming from Washington. Of course, he's came from Miami, and he started taking, I think, Taekwondo. Things like that, like having that flexibility, man. So if, a bend that would typically, like, take your leg out, because you've seen them and a couple of your players there, those guys, hell, look at Odell. I guess, he had need out there, but, he's made some catches of. Whatever his training regime is, it works until, it didn't.
Yeah.
But those are the things that you really look at it, and kind of help with that, and teach these brothers how to tackle. I don't care how much every year we're going to talk about the same thing. Somebody going to get blown up because somebody don't know how to tackle, or they miss a tackle.
There was we were talking last night on the fact of the updates that ran through NCAA football. And one of the updates with the regular hit stick with the analog stick.
Yep.
Now, you still press up for the hit stick like the power hit, but then you can press to the right, press to the left, and press down, low tackle, scooping them up. Another one is to wrap them up. Another one is to do a specific dot. So if the game can tell how important it is to specify how you're tackling, I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yeah.
I'm just
let's talk about the game. So Electronic Arts, also known as EA Sports, and all those parts, they officially closed their $55 billion deal earlier during the week. And what this deal is, it takes them private. They no longer have stock. You no longer can trade EA stock.
Private with who?
Yeah, the highlight of this is, everything we're looking at is the majority of the company is probably owned by the Saudi investment fund. The current CEO, whatever, he still remains in charge. But as of now, the conversation has been, so what now as far as the games that comes out, the regulation behind it, this, that, and the third. One thing I'll take from this is it lessens competition, just from a money side. Just from a money side, like, before this happened, I read something. Maybe it was last year before that. I thought they were talking about, because EA bought, especially for Madden, they bought the exclusive rights to the Madden franchise. That's why we no longer have our 2K NFL series. And with this influx of money, they're never giving up that exclusivity at all. Like, they read up for that for a few other years. So, and it kind of lessens that, which, competition breeds better gaming. There's also been and part about this, a bunch of layoffs too. I don't know, man. Are we still gonna play? I mean, we're playing it now. But
listen, you hit on the key word, which is competition. Yeah. That's simple economics. And it's not out there, especially in the gaming sports world. It's not out there. Does NBA Live even come out anymore? I don't even know.
Remember, they were doing demos forever.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if that comes out.
Yeah.
So 2K has no competition. And what boosted on the other side for Madden, when we were sitting back for years and we were like, hey, Madden is not doing anything because the ESPN side wasn't there to even have any form of competition.
Right.
All of a sudden, NCAA football drops. And even though you're looking at professional and you're looking at college, it made Madden overnight become better. Because some people were sitting back, as we know, our own co-host, Earl, sitting back like him going, I'm good with NCAA. I don't need to get Madden.
Yeah.
And we're diehard NFL fans here. And they're like, no, I don't need to play in the game with my sports team. Or on the flip side, I'll just wait until it drops 50%, or I'll just wait until it's given on Game Pass or something like that. Like,
right.
That's what's going on. That's what people are going through, because they're just like, if you're not going to present me with something better, I'll still play the old game.
Yeah.
Somebody will come out with a roster that will update to the new rosters. And that's all you got to do in the old games. And that's what we spoke about before. All you have to do, instead of putting out all these games, and we'll talk about the physical side of it, because even that's going out the window now. But you could just load up a big update to the game and have people purchase that. You'll probably even get more people that do it.
Yeah.
If instead of putting out a $60, $65 game, if you put out a $30, $35 update that gives you basically a whole new thing, maybe it takes a whole day to download.
Right.
It is what it is. And you'll keep people in it. But when you don't have competition and you don't present anything better, it's going to be hard. And that's what, say, on like the 2K side is going to run into. You're looking at a little bit better graphics and stuff like that. But until we get like a March Madness, which I thought was coming, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
So until we get something like that, there's nothing to pressure them to be better. So I'm hoping that all these updates and ownerships and things like that switching in, I'm hoping it's not just the name that's on it and the money that's backing it. It's the fact that it gets better because we're at a turning point right now.
Yeah.
What are we about to talk about in the next year or two? These new consoles coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And if my new console Madden looks like my old console Madden and everything's pretty much the same, why am I paying $1,000 or more for that new console? Unless you tell me, which I won't put it past them, oh, those games are no longer valid.
And to your point, not just valid, relevant, because not only does EA, and we're gonna come back to the sports part of it in a minute. They have games like Battlefield. Battlefield is the competitor to Call of Duty. Battlefield is a gorgeous looking game, but now you're gonna see where you're gonna allocate resources and stuff like that. But let's keep it on to Madden and college football. The biggest thing that's missing, and it's something that we ourselves we can speak for, is we're in third season of the dynasty in college football. But we can't export.
Congrats on your chip, by the way.
Classes. Appreciate you. Thank you.
He whooped my ass. He ain't gonna glance over there. He whooped my ass. But go ahead.
I can't export that draft class that just won the national championship in college football to Madden. It's not there. And I had some of them, yes, are the name players like a Malachi Tony and stuff like that. But let me know. I know he's going to eventually be in Madden, but
right.
We're playing it now. But two, the teams that, now you got players that we're recruiting, the not real.
And that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
And it's, you can export your player from Road to Glory, which is cool. We're making our way there because that's a fictional player. Yeah. But let's see how far we go into moving that. Now we know that's going to come down to money. We know the NIL stuff. We'll start talking about a little bit of that stuff in a minute. But we know it's going to come down to that, which is unfortunate. All of this stuff, all of our sports now, unfortunately, comes down to money. Whether it's the gaming, whether it's the betting, whether it's the fantasy football, whether it's where you can watch your games, because now you have to have 8 subscriptions just to see your game. Shout out to Sunday Ticket, because I know you about to charge my card if you haven't already. I know it's coming.
And shout out to the old Bannon brothers, because that's why we're having this conversation.
Exactly why we're having this conversation. It's going to, and with this current administration, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some conversation. Something's going to spark it, and we're going to circle back to this. I'm willing to bet on it. See what I just did? The fact that they're going to discuss this deal, this $55 billion deal. The thing that still irks me, though, because you show it in college football, which we're about to go over to now, but in Madden still, the stadiums are still full. If you're getting beat down, we go to NFL games. If we're losing and it's the third, fourth quarter, people are leaving. They're leaving the stadium. EA, because I know you guys listen. You guys have done a hell of a job with the updates and stuff like that. Go ahead and transition us. If you're going to give us all this, give us the realism. Now, again, there's a tongue-in-cheek deal or whatever it was several years ago, apparently, that some folks didn't like the fact that their stadiums were showing empty in these games, and now they changed because they didn't used to be like that.
Yeah.
Let's put more to it. That's one thing that 2K gave us. The realism of the crowd is fantastic.
I love the updates that they are running, specifically NCAA, on like a weekly to bi-weekly level that's updating the true game. That's how it should be. Yeah. It's a computer. Yes. So update it like a computer.
I love it. Let's jump right over into some college football. And let's start off with our top 10. Right now, the college football 2026 rankings, I guess it's a preseason of version because they haven't started yet. But right now, Ohio State, number 1, Texas Tech, 2, Oregon, 3, Notre Dame, 4, Georgia, 5, national championship, defending national champions, Indiana, 6. The person who lost to those Indiana Hoosiers, the Miami Hurricanes, 7, Texas A&M, 8, Texas Tech, 9, Oklahoma, 10. I gotta ask, any surprise in this round? This is according to CBS Sports, but any surprise in this top 10 going into preseason top 10? I guess you want to call it, whatever case may be.
I mean, some of these teams, I just don't know who particularly came back,
right?
To put them up there.
Well, we know who they lost. We know Ohio State lost a bunch of people. They had a hell of a draft class, but You had a nice draft class last
Yeah,
year.
but they always have the next draft class coming in. Certain teams like that, they're always going to have the next draft class that's up.
Yeah.
Notice Alabama's not up there.
Not up there. Alabama is not up there.
Who you always talk about.
Yeah. Different time.
Notre Dame is up there, and they better hope they stay up there because who they playing?
I think they playing Indiana. I think this year.
Are they?
I think they're playing Indiana.
I don't know.
I
know.
Look at their schedule.
I know they just reestablished their I guess rivalry. What is it? USC, but that's coming like a couple years from now or something like that.
Which is weird. We can talk about that in a minute as well.
Yeah. Who you have?
The surprising part of it, and this happens every year. I guess they just have their, and maybe Oregon. And the only reason, and I think this point now.
Let me see where they're at.
They're and the reason, and this is no slight to the guy, but every year Oregon, now they have made it to the college football playoff, but Oregon tends to be that they become like that disappointment almost every year when it comes to expectations. A la the team that's number 10, Oklahoma. Now, how many years that we watched Oklahoma be there and be like, here we go, and then they lose that pivotal game or they just don't show up. Now I get it. I don't know what it's like the Hall of Fame class. I don't know what the criteria is to get the 1 through 10. I know you got a bunch of people who is well beyond our pay grade and stuff like that, but it's interesting to show who's here as far as the.
I have to see where you pulled from.
You got CBS? Yeah, I pulled it from CBS.
Okay, it's the CBS because this one I'm pulling from the preseason coaches poll.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and they got a different. Yep, they got a different one there.
Oregon's number 2.
Right.
It's Ohio State, Oregon. I'm just trying to see the differences. You have Georgia at 5. They got Georgia at 3. Texas at 4. Notre Dame at 5. Indiana at 6. Miami at 7. Texas A&M at 8. Oklahoma at 9, and then Ole Miss at 10.
Yeah. So
that's on the coaches one.
And that this thing is all over the place. It's literally all.
But to go from 2 to not even be up there, that's that's a pretty serious difference.
And a lot, it's there's a lot of bias and such. We're still waiting. Look, Sarkisian, and we were talking about Texas last year, and we watched several games last year. We were like, man, they about to fire him, bro, because that offense they were running, it was Arch Manning was up and down and all over the place, and he ended up having a decent season throughout. But it's literally been some of everything. Why this top 10 is important is, to your point, did you pull up Notre Dame's schedule? And
right.
Because you're talking about something that is, at least I can say with NFL, we pretty much know what we're gonna get. We know what's there. Everybody's aligned. There's so much stuff going on in college football.
Okay.
From the Protect Players Act to stuff that's alongside the redistricting stuff. There was for the Voting Act, which that impacts the college football landscape, because at one point, we talked about last week, Ryan Clark had kind of made his stance on, players that were going to certain schools, man. Those are schools that were looking at redistricting their voting areas and stuff like that. And then, how everything's money, man. Everything is money. What's Notre Dame's schedule right now?
I'm going to run right through it. They open up against Wisconsin.
Okay.
Rice, Michigan Purdue, North Carolina, not basketball. Yeah. Stanford. Okay. A lot of these are basketball schools. Yeah. BYU.
Okay.
Navy. They play you guys on November 7th.
Yeah, got that one. Yep.
Boston College, SMU, Syracuse.
Okay, so no Indiana this year. I don't know why I thought they would play Indiana this year.
On there, I see the main ones, you guys.
Yeah. Maybe Wisconsin. Maybe. Wisconsin coming out of the Big
I
Ten.
don't know. Michigan
Yeah.
State hasn't been around for a while. No slight
Yeah.
to Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's about it.
Yeah.
So that's why I said you start off at whatever you want to start off at.
Yeah.
And you don't play afterwards. Like there's no conference game. So
and that's the thing I want to talk about, man, because for them, if they went out, let's say they beat Miami and they went out, they go undefeated, they're in the playoff, period. Even with what we can call it that trash schedule like that.
It's a trash schedule for a team
trash
like
schedule,
that.
brother. Like it really is. It's that's the perks, I guess, of being independent. But to your point,
well, let's say you even lose. Switch it for a second. Yeah. Let's say they lose to Miami.
Yeah.
But they're a one-loss team.
And if Miami's a top 5 team, again, they're still in compared to an undefeated, mid-major or something like that. Go pull up now. Do me a favor. Pull up Indiana's schedule. I think this year Indiana only got like 40 people over 26 compared to 47. I'm kidding.
All right. So I'll run through theirs. You ready?
Yeah, what you got?
North Texas, Howard.
Wait, stop. Wait.
You heard me.
Howard who? Howard University?
You heard me. WKU. I had to look and see if that was in Howard too, but it's not.
No, they pay them probably like a meal to come out there and play.
WKU.
Western Kentucky.
I'm not talking about a radio station. Northwestern.
Oh, God.
Rutgers.
All right, Earl.
Nebraska. They play Ohio State October 17th.
In the Big Ten, okay.
Oh, the very next week they play us, Michigan.
Okay.
Minnesota, USC, Washington, Purdue. Still a tougher schedule than Notre Dame.
It is.
just off the 3 names I put out there.
Ohio State, Nebraska, and probably you guys. But even still, bro, they're going to be, 5-0 before they even play anybody serious? They're playing Howard in week 2. What? That is insane. That is as big as the Big Ten is, and
I was just about to say, playing out of the Big Ten.
That's who you're playing. That's who you're playing. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know. Like I just don't. So all that being said, so there's a lot of conversation around growing the college football playoff. Currently, it's in at 12 teams from 16 to 24 teams. Okay. So the 2014 proposal, the point to that is, it's all the, again, money, broadcast and inventory revenue. But you now got to worry about like the lopsided first round things or something like that. And then on top of that is the access of it. Your top, you got your group of 6, and then you got smaller conferences. They're kind of fighting for those automatic bids. But hell, if you go 12 teams, last year you had Indiana there, you had Ohio State in there, you had what other Big Ten teams we had last year? We had Indiana, Ohio State. Let me think. Miami's ACC. I think we had Texas was in there, but they're not Big Ten.
All right, here we go.
Alabama, I believe, was.
You had Indiana. You had Ohio State. You said just out of Big Ten?
Yeah, out of Big Ten. Yeah.
You had Oregon.
Yep. Okay. They Big Ten. I forgot they were Big Ten now. What the hell?
Yeah. Remember they switched on over.
That's crazy.
Them USC, all them are in there. Yeah, those are your ones.
So you have 3 there.
So you got Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, 1, 2, 5.
And then I don't see how this is the growth that they're talking about because you have these massive conferences, and this is
Oh,
the
if you
big,
do that, half of it's gonna be Big Ten.
yeah, and now it's part of the part of the like the again all of this is two big conferences, primarily the SEC and the Big Ten controlling college football, and then you have the ACC outliers like that. But with them being to do that now, they're the ACC and the SEC. They're kind of going to a projected, mandatory 9-game conference, games. But even then, like the conferences are lopsided. But now you have these super conferences, which is huge, and that's going to squeeze out a lot of the lower, tier teams. And not just because the goal is no longer to win a national championship, at least for most schools. It's not. It's to get those premier games to get more money into your school.
Getting those bowl games. Yep.
Yeah. Because Oregon has not won a national championship. But Dan Lanning is not
got plenty
on
of
the
money.
hot seat. They funded by, Phil Knight and Nike and those guys.
Nike, yeah.
Yeah, so he's 47-8 or something like that over his last some years there, but he's lost some really big games. Hell, Oregon played against JMU in this last playoff, and while they did beat them, that game was not as that game was not as bad as you look at it just by numbers. Like I watched that game, I'm like, wow, this is interesting. The money game is what we all see in this case. And to your point, if you're playing like these cupcake teams, yeah, you're paying them $900,000 a mil. It's not going to happen to Howard, but you also run the risk. Well, this is what happened. Not run the risk of teams start to pick and choose who they don't want to play. And that goes contrary to just being a competitive team. And I'm going to tell you why. I know you remember this, the infamous upset Appalachian State over Michigan.
Of course, I remember that.
But Appalachian State, since then, Appalachian State they had a little bit of a run there. And they had a couple of other upsets. But all of a sudden, teams, they didn't really put Appalachian State on their schedule because the potential because the way they played and stuff like that. We want to see be good football. It's going to be, I guess, it's Indiana, so it's going to be a game that's going to be broadcast at least regionally. It might be I don't think it's going to be a nationally televised game, but it's going to be on a network, so that's going to get some insight to Howard. But you're going to be walking in there I hope it's not the case, but you're walking there to get, skull drug, which is rough. All that being said, the expansion of college football, as they're pulling out there, is getting to the point, especially with the conferences, that they're going to have to get under control. Because, again, I forgot when you said Oregon is in the Big Ten along with USC because the Pac-12 is no longer there now. But you forget, there's 300 FBS schools, and you only know about, two conferences. They got 20 teams in it. It almost feels like you're a big soccer fan. You play soccer. It almost feels like the soccer leagues. There's 190 something soccer leagues, with MLS, Spanish La Liga, Premier League, but you only know a couple of teams from each. Looking at college football, the Big Ten and the SEC, but you don't know who's playing who outside of that. And now you end up getting these lopsided matchups. Who does Michigan have this year outside of Ohio State? Because they're gunning for Ryan Day. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're running for him. So
while I'm pulling that up, tell them what's going on in NCAA football with Day that you spoke about yesterday.
So NCAA football that we're playing in there. So Ryan Day, I was listening to it during the other day, and they were talking about Ryan Day. Ryan Day has a record of 87 wins and 12 losses over his career at Ohio State. Ohio State just won
in our game.
Oh, in our game right now. So he's actually right now. Actually, he's on the hot seat, ain't he?
Yeah,
he's actually on the hot seat, and that's because
why?
He lost to Michigan.
That's how real it is. They don't care about your record or whatever else you did.
Nah, they lost to it, and that's in real life too. The reason he still has a job now is because they beat Michigan last year. Prior to that, brother, he was on his way out for sure. Who Michigan got?
So this must be this side of Big Ten's scheduling
Okay.
because we got WMU, Oklahoma,
WMU to WKU?
UTEP, WMU for us.
Oh, yeah, William and Mary. Is that Western Michigan?
That
That's
might
got to be
what-
Western Michigan.
Yeah,
That'd be-
Western Michigan.
Okay. Shout out to the.
So we got Western Michigan. Not the
Not Eastern Michigan.
I know we Oklahoma, UTEP,
Okay.
Iowa, Minnesota, Penn State, Indiana, Rutgers, Michigan State, Oregon, UCLA, Ohio State.
First of all, how the hell does Michigan have a tougher schedule than Indiana? Like, at least, really?
Some of these teams are always going to pop up. You know, Ohio State is always going to be our last game.
Yeah.
We always play Michigan State.
You got Penn State in there.
Penn State. Yep, we always play them.
Y'all got a tougher schedule than Indiana, dude. Y'all in the same conference. Same conference. Much tougher schedule. Like, okay. I guess it's going to make for good television. But to that point, when you get to, since we're here, and you know, this just turned into a Big Ten conversation. Let's say Indiana and Michigan have the same record this year. They both got one loss. Who's going to get that spot in the college football playoffs?
It matters who the loss is to.
You're right.
Because if ours is to Ohio State at the end of the year, it's also the timing of the loss too.
Right. That part.
So,
yeah.
Let's say we won every single game that I just named, except for Ohio State.
Yeah.
When you lose at the end of a season, it's tough. It's tough.
Unless it's close.
Yeah. When you're dealing with, let me go back to Indiana's schedule real quick.
Now, stop right there though. Let's
Go
say
ahead.
this. Let's say Michigan somehow goes undefeated, right? They go undefeated. And Indiana has one loss.
Say it's to Miami.
No, I'll go one further. Indiana has one loss, but they beat Ohio State just like you guys did.
Right? Oh, wait a minute. They don't play y'all. Yeah. I got you.
So let's say Indiana and then Michigan end up playing if it works out that way, they end up playing in the conference championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And let's just say that Michigan loses to Indiana, giving Indiana one loss. I think did I have this right this way? Give me Indiana one. Like, who gets like the higher seed in that case? It's like it was weird.
Oh, whoever loses. Well, I think you said if they both had one loss.
Yeah.
If one had zero losses, so let's say if we were undefeated and Indiana had one loss, but then they beat us in the conference championship.
I think I had it this way. If you guys were undefeated, they had one loss. Let's say the loss was actually to Ohio State. It was Ohio State. They beat you guys in the conference championship for some reason. In this case, so now you both got one loss, but
yeah, but they got the conference championship. I think that they would get the higher, and they beat us head to head.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So they would probably get the higher in that sense.
Better. It sounded better in my head.
Yeah, but the thing is, they definitely both will make the playoffs.
Yeah, it just goes to the conversation that how all this stuff is leveraged, because you remember we were having this conversation about Alabama last year. Alabama had like damn near 3 losses last year, if I remember. I think they had at least 2, and they was in the conference playoff. They were in the championship playoff, which was interesting. When you had teams that were outside of that, they were debating who was the team that got left out last year, and or did Alabama get in there? Yeah, they did.
It was them.
Yeah, they got in. They got in over somebody else.
No.
They got in over Notre Dame, right? I think they got in over Notre Dame. That's who was left out last year, if I remember. Because we were talking about
they were left out, yeah.
Yeah, Notre Dame was left out, but Alabama got in. Is that how it went? Or was it the other way around? I'm pretty sure that's what happened. There was a big debate last season. It's our first episode of this season, guys. So this was a topic that I hadn't really researched, but my brain started going. To why we're trying to pull it up, it just lends to the imbalance between the conferences for the sake of growth potential that now has just turned this whole thing into like the Wild West. To quote one Jay-Z, it's just out there.
Yeah, because Tulane and James Madison got in 11-12.
Right. And I don't.
Alabama got in, but Notre Dame didn't.
Right. So, and their argument was, "What? Don't be independent." I'm like, don't have a team that is getting there just on just like historical preference, not because you want to, because they're SEC, they won't garner the same thing. Come on, man. What are we talking about? Before we get out of here, what? Well, this week, of course, we know Madden dropped last week. Haven't played it yet, but pivoting back to NFL real quick, what do you want to see out of your Giants out of the preseason going into the regular season?
Number one, no injuries. That's number one. Number two is one thing that I'm already seeing. Just competition, true battles for positions. I don't remember the last time I've been able to say for the Giants that we have a true battle at the wide receiver position. We're normally just taking whatever the hell is there. Example, Hyatt still being on the team. Yeah. We're taking whatever's there and just throw it in there. Now we have a legitimate battle at the wide receiver position. You're going from, of course, his neighbor's healthy. He's the number one. But yeah, the second paid is for payment wise is Slayton. As far as how much he's getting paid the most actually on that, because neighbors haven't done his contract yet.
Yeah.
But Slayton, honestly, to me, it sounded like Fields, our rookie, is that true number two. So then you got a person that's the highest paid receiver, but now he's not number one. He's not number two. So then we go, are you number three? And the fact that I got to ask, are you number three? Now you have a Mooney behind him. Now you have, there's another person we brought over. Austin behind him. Then you start getting into the talk of OBJ making the team. And the fact that I can go 5 and 6 down the depth chart and go, I'm good with that. The only part that I struggle with is if this guy falls to 3 or 4, yet you're the highest paid receiver, I have a problem with that. We got to figure something out. But that's a good problem to have because there's competition. Shoring up the line, the offensive line. It's competition. Defense, I don't even really have nothing to speak on. I love what they're doing over there. And we got depth finally in the secondary where there's true competition going on. We were speaking about it yesterday with Earl as far as how cornerbacks are kind of ranked throughout history. And we were having a conversation to the sense of realize there's only a few, not just this year, period, in NFL history, that you can consider elite cornerbacks. A lot of cornerbacks can do specific things. Whether you're a person that can switch off and play slot in number 1 and number 2 on the sides or whatever it is, or you can switch off and even D up a tight end or something like that. Or if you're one of those ones that are very good at a corner blitz, all these things come into play, right? But a lot of them depend on what? How good their defensive line and the pressure is. Do you have also covering linebackers that are good at coverage? Yeah. So all those things play a factor. But I say that to say this. I'm excited about the season. I'm excited about what I'm seeing in the preseason. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Oh, the Giants are back, because I would just say back from what? Because we haven't been anywhere in a while. So let me just enjoy what I'm looking at and having any type of happiness in watching a game instead of what I've seen the last couple of years. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And honestly, more than anything, I'm just excited for football this year. You know, you're coming off a year that a team won that honestly you really didn't think about winning. And that excites me. How does that lead into this year? Yeah, we see the one team revving up, which is the Rams. Hey, just throw it all in there. And Aaron Donald's going to play. I'm just going to put that out there right now. Aaron Donald's going to play. But no matter how many people you got on that team, are they all going to be around at the end of the season? Injuries will let you know.
I'll say this. We already got an injury in camp for the Commanders. I want to see, quickly, I just want to see the incorporation of one, Terry McLaurin, and now newly signed Stephon Diggs. Welcome back to Maryland. But
welcome back.
What I really want to see is, and this is probably going to, ignite a lot of people and piss them off. It's okay. I want to see what one Shedeur Sanders looks like in Cleveland. Get all the other stuff out of there. Sink or swim. If it sinks, Cleveland, you're back with a top pick again. You got a really good defense, young defense. Like even though I know they got rid of Myles Garrett, they got a lot going on there. And I follow them ahead. They're doing well. They hit on some really good picks. Find out what you got, man. Don't pussyfoot around it. Find out what you got. You know what you got in your $40 million quarterback. It's after a while, man. I don't even think at this point the scratch is going to be worth the itch. It's not. It's everything I've been seeing here. It's not. It looks good in shirts and shorts. It's not going the right way. Just get rid of all the conversation. And if it goes downhill, you got. Don't turn into the situation that's happening in Pittsburgh, where now you got all these other good parts, and you find yourself either in the middle of the pack, or pretty much in the middle of the pack now, and you kind of like you cost yourself some top picks, and you can't get that top quarterback talent at the end of the day. I know there's a lot of good quarterbacks. They say this every year, quote unquote, air quote, for people who are listening. There's always going to be a this next cycle of quarterbacks going to be it, and then they get here and be like, not so much. See what you got in Shedeur, man. I mean, there's a reason that those vibes are there. There's a reason that he's still here. Whatever you may believe, just get it going. I'll be watching just to see how good they are or how good they're not. But football season's back, guys. Football season is back, and now something new that we added this year. You guys can go ahead and rewatch the episode on YouTube, and you can also listen on your favorite podcast channel, wherever, so there we go. All right, man. So myself, storyteller, Dr. Earl, he should be back with us next week. We appreciate you for stopping in, man. Listen, like, subscribe, share, and all the jazz. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. This is the Hot Seat Podcast presents Football Talk Live, powered by DUBBY. We out.